Section 2.6. Why choose secret key? In this era of public key cryptography, the question naturally arises, why would anyone choose secret key cryptography? There are several reasons. Secret key cryptography is much faster. Even the strongest, most complex secret key methods tend to be hundreds or even thousands of times faster than the leading public key methods. In fact, the main use of public key cryptography is to encrypt keys for secret key cryptography. The keys are sent using public key methods, but the messages themselves are sent using secret key methods. Public key cryptography, PKC, requires a public key infrastructure. There must be public key servers to distribute public keys to potential correspondents. PKC is subject to a variety of man-in-the-middle and spoofing attacks, where an opponent poses as the sender and/or the receiver and/or the key server, so PKC requires a great deal of authentication and verification. The person requesting a public key must prove membership in the same network as the recipient. The message containing the public key must be verified to assure it came from the server. The receiver must be authenticated when the public key is first posted on the server and every time it is changed. When a new party is added to the network, the person authorizing that new party must be authenticated. When a new network is added to a server, every party involved must be authenticated. The receiver must verify that the received message has not been altered or replaced by some third party. This all makes for a profusion of messages. Secret key cryptography can operate without any of that administrative overload. Two individual people can exchange secret key messages without involving anyone else or any intermediating system. When several people are exchanging secret key messages, the only authorization required is that each party has the current key. An unauthorized person won't have the keys and can't read the messages. Exchanging messages is not the only use for cryptography. An equally important role is securing the secrecy of data files stored on a computer, on an external device such as a flash drive, or in cloud storage, often for a long time. PKC cannot be used for this purpose. Only secret key methods are suited for keeping data files secret. When a message needs to be broadcast to many receivers at the same time, this can easily be done with secret key methods. All that is needed is for each party to have the key. They could use a special broadcast key separate from their personal keys, or each party could be sent the message key by using a separate key transmission key. With public key methods, you would need to get the individual public keys of all the recipients, with all of the attendant authorization and verification. This cannot be prearranged because the participants are free to change their public keys at any time. The most common public key method is the RSA method. The strength of this method depends on the fact that it is currently very difficult to factor large numbers, see section 3.4. Given a 200-digit decimal number, with no small prime factors, there is currently no feasible way of factoring it. However, when quantum computers become available, this will all change. MIT professor Peter Shor developed a quantum algorithm that can easily factor a number that size. When that happens, all of the RSA messages stored on computers will be able to be read. There is, so far, no known way to use quantum computers for cracking secret key ciphers. If quantum computers are a concern, secret key cryptography is the only choice. Section 2.7. Why build your own? If you are a cipher hobbyist, it is obvious why you want to build your own ciphers. You build your own ciphers because that's your hobby. Model train hobbyists design, build and run model trains. Model plane fans design, build and fly model planes. cipher hobbyists design, build and solve ciphers. If you are a cryptography student, building your own cipher is good training. It is the best way to learn how to build and how to evaluate ciphers. The current standard cipher, AES, section 11.5, will not last forever, and somebody will need to design its replacement. If you want to be part of that effort, this book may be your best starting point. If you are a serious cryptographer with responsibilities for protecting high-value data and communications, you might build your own ciphers out of a healthy skepticism that the government-approved ciphers are as safe and secure as your government claims. Let me give you one story that will support your doubts. Circa 1975, IBM proposed the cipher now called DES, the Data Encryption Standard. It became a worldwide standard for secret key encryption. As IBM originally designed it, DES had a 64-bit key. The National Security Agency, NSA, required that the key be reduced from 64 bits to 56 bits, with the other 8 bits used as a checksum. This made no sense. If a checksum were really needed, then the key could be increased from 64 to 72 bits. It was widely believed that the real reason the NSA made this demand was that it knew how to crack messages using a 56-bit key, but not messages using a 64-bit key. This proved to be true. You could reasonably conclude that the NSA would never approve any encryption standard that it could not crack. In that case, you could infer that the NSA can crack all of the different forms of AES, and if the NSA can crack AES, then it is likely that its Russian and Chinese counterparts can crack AES as well. There are just a handful of experts who construct the candidate ciphers from which the worldwide standard ciphers are selected. It is well known that these experts receive briefings at NSA headquarters in Fort Meade, Maryland. During these meetings, NSA personnel advise them of techniques that might either strengthen or weaken the ciphers. It is possible that hidden among the recommended methods is some back door that lets the NSA, and only the NSA, solve these ciphers easily. It is also plausible that the NSA could offer jobs, contracts and research grants that might induce the experts to adopt those vulnerable methods. There is a good bit of speculation here, but cryptographers tend to be very conservative. If you can imagine a plausible weakness or vulnerability, whether or not your opponent can realistically exploit it, it is best to guard against it whenever you can. Finally, you might just be after speed, simpler implementation, or cheaper hardware. You might want to construct your own ciphers to achieve these goals without giving up security. You will find methods in this book that can help you do that. That said, remember that there are plenty of pitfalls. Don't just create a cipher and assume it is strong enough. Lots of ciphers turn out to have unexpected weaknesses. Even the strongest cipher can be defeated by operator errors, such as starting every message with a standard header, frequently reusing keys, or sending the identical message using different keys. For example, many German messages were solved during World War II because they all began Heil Hitler. This book contains all the information you need to construct an unbreakable cipher, but remember that reading only one book about cryptography will not make you an expert overnight. Be sure to check the strength of your cipher using the principles detailed in Chapter 12.